The Alabama State Board of Education decided to make an ass of themselves and dumb down the kids of the state. So Raw Story reports here, Alabama science textbooks will continue telling children that the theory of evolution is controversial, even though this claim is not true. The State Board of Education voted to keep this one-page disclaimer in biology textbooks, a move advocated by conservative Christians. The insert reads, in part, the theory of evolution by natural selection is a controversial theory that is included in this textbook. It is assumed that it produces large changes, even though this has not been directly observed. Okay, that's false. We have overwhelming evidence that this indeed does happen. In fact, there's been articles of, oh no, we literally just witnessed evolution happen in front of us. So when they say that, it's just not correct. And to the idea that it's controversial, it's only controversial among the uneducated on the topic. So when you go to the experts, they're like, oh no, this is not controversial at all. This is obvious. This is a gimme. We know this one. This is for sure. But think about how that's such a dirty trick. It's like, well, with this person, it's controversial to do this kind of medical procedure. But then you go to the doctors and they're like, this is not controversial. It's like, well, we just talked to this guy who's a plumber and he said it's controversial. Well, that's nice. This isn't his fucking field. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. The doctors know what they're talking about. They say this procedure's not controversial. So what the fuck are you talking about? That's what's happening here. We have some conservative Christians who believe the world is 6,000 years old who say that evolution's controversial. Well, the only thing that's controversial here is them. They're controversial because they're so silly and obviously incorrect. So there you have it, man. Dude, it's 2016. The year is 2016. And these idiots in Alabama are like, you have to add that it's a controversial theory. They are intent upon living in a primitive age. That's what this is. And by the way, this handicaps the next generation beyond belief. You have no idea. You know, this is like, basically you want them to live in a pseudo-madrasa in this case. I mean, if all you're going to teach them, or you're going to bog them down with religious nonsense, then how can you expect them to go on and be successful in the modern world and in a competitive economy when they don't even have the basics? Like, if you don't know that evolution is correct, how the fuck are you going to be involved in anything that requires any nuance and detail? How are you going to be involved in computer engineering or artificial intelligence or any of this stuff? You're handicapping these kids up front. And also, it's hilarious when you read this and then you take into consideration what the Republicans say about Common Core. Like, no, we can't have any federal standards. Don't be crazy. You got to return education to the localities and the states. Yeah, when you do that, this happens. When you say, okay, everybody in Mississippi, Alabama, go ahead, put whatever you want in the curriculum. They're like, all right, Jesus served as Secretary of the Treasury to Ronald Reagan. That's history, and we're going to put that in the classes. But that's not accurate. That's not accurate. So Common Core, and by the way, you can be against certain aspects of Common Core, of course, and you can be against, hey, the thing they taught here is weird and not right. That all makes sense. But to say, scrap the whole idea of some federal standards to give it back to the states, well, no, this is what happens. States' rights has always been a dodge of an argument to get away with doing something stupid. Like when you had Southern sheriffs arguing in favor of segregation. They didn't come out and say, we're racist and we would like to keep blacks down. They came out and said, states' rights. Federal government got to butt out and let the states do what they want to do. And then doing what they want was, we're going to keep blacks as second-class citizens. And this is another argument. States' rights. Got to let me teach my kids that the world is 6,000 years old and that an old man was on an ark with a bunch of animals. But no, we don't have to do that. Facts are the same in California as they are in Wyoming. Sorry.